Let's try and get those horses in there. They're out there playing around because it's cold out. Pushing each other around. There's Moki over there grabbing a snack. Hi, Moki Cat. Where's he at? Oh, there he is. Shit. Kind of blending in there. Alright. So, hey gun people. Where can I move this? Let me move this over here. Shit. I don't know where the hell I've gone. I'll just put this over here and I'll go stand over here. I'll get my flags in the background. That's where I usually stand. Alright. So let's talk about, and I really don't know the answer to this yet. So I got a couple good videos coming out on, one is a federal agent that got caught sniffing panties. Oh, he was a federal agent. Here's all the cop lovers. They'll be like, well, Rick, you don't know, maybe he was doing an investigation. I need more information. Okay, a federal agent, off duty, goes into a house that's for sale, goes into a little girl's room, looks around, digs through the hamper, pulls out her panties and starts sniffing them. Not once, but twice. But anyway, well, I got to do that video. I sent it to my buddy because this guy was a, when I say federal agent, I think he was a U.S. Marshal. And one of my buddies used to be a U.S. Marshal, so I sent it to him and I go, dude, the hell are you guys hiring? So I haven't heard back from him yet. But anyway, I want to talk about cops. How do cops get caught up in this web of deceit and the law? So, the law, as everybody knows, if you've been watching me for a while, is very fluid and very, how can I say, it depends. It's not real clear, it's not absolute. It all depends on this judge or that DA and who wants to charge and who doesn't, and what judge wants to convict and what judge doesn't, and which judge wants to let in this evidence and which judge doesn't want to let in, and then the Court of Appeals, and then if the Court of Appeals don't agree, because they usually don't, there's three, and that's why there's three, so they have to have a decision. So it's usually 2-1 on the Court of Appeals, and then if they don't like that, then it goes up to the federal and then to the Supreme Court. And it's 9 judges. Gee, Rick, why don't they have just 8 judges? Why do they pick 9? Well, I think they used to have 7 or maybe 5. I thought it was 7. And then it went up to 9. And it's an odd number because they don't want to tie. They don't want to have a case to where they tie. So most of your appellate courts are odd number of judges. But that's off topic. That's just gets you into the mindset of how the law is. That's why these idiots who are out here making videos, because they watch videos and telling you how to defend yourself and what you need to do and how you should listen to them, and they've never been in a courtroom, never done anything with the law yet. Hi, Moki, what are you doing? Come say hi to YouTubies. Hang on, he just jumped over here. What are you doing? You get your butt over here and say hi to YouTubies. There ain't no sense in that. You're being a big old crazy cat. It's cold out here, Dad. It's really cold. Alright, so here's how cops get caught up in this shit. And let me just say now, Rick, you're defending cops. They should know better. There's no excuse. And now the cop like, well, Rick, you don't understand. Cops don't always have to do that, and they're pressured. Whatever. Look, you need to stand up. If you're going to be a cop, and you're going to go out there and enforce a law, and you have the ability to take someone's life and to take away their freedom and put them in jail or take their kids away, that is a huge amount of responsibility. And if you don't take it serious enough to be at least a semi-expert in your area or field of expertise, then you're a piece of shit in my book. Rick, you can't call it copies. That's a tough job. And then shut up, you freaking crybaby. Hi, Loki. All right, so cops get caught up because every time, just like defendants, when a defendant gets arrested and he goes to trial, he gets a public defender. And his public defender is his legal, Smokey's going to move the camera, so if the camera shakes, he's over there rubbing his face on it. So the public defender is the educator of the crook. So the public defender goes, oh man, you shouldn't have gave a statement. You should have said you want an attorney. You shouldn't have talked to the cops. You shouldn't have admitted anything. You shouldn't have done anything. You should have kept your mouth shut. So every time a crook gets arrested, he gets this education from a taxpayer-paid public defendant to educate him and make him better understand how to circumvent and not get caught up in the law, how not to be found guilty, how not, the defense attorney doesn't say, dude, you shouldn't have committed the crime. You did the crime, you got to do the time. You ought to plead. That's not what he does. He tells him how to get out of it. How do we dupe the system? How do we manipulate and make it the officer was wrong, make it the policy was wrong, let's find a loophole in the law. That's the way public defenders take care of their clients. Well, DAs do the same thing to cops. The DA will get a cop in there and go, oh man, you shouldn't have done that because when you did that, now I can't use this, and you need to say only this, and you need to make sure next time that you do this, and next time. So cops get their education from the DAs, the crooks get their education from their public defender, but cops also get an education from public defenders because every time, well, cops who actually go out and make arrests that actually go to court, I'm telling you, you need to ask cops next time you talk to them because they're probably going to lie. Ask them how many jury trials they've been at. Ask them how many search warrants they've written. Ask them how many times they've had a suppression motion to suppress some of their evidence. Ask them how many times their warrant was tried to be suppressed. The answer is going to be, if it's truthful, probably 95%. I'm going to give it a high end, say this, 90% of cops don't do warrants, don't go to suppression hearings, don't worry about evidence because they don't seize evidence. They don't do anything but they have to. They go out and they write their freaking tickets. They take a report when they have to, and they do zero investigation or trying to catch somebody. And that way they don't have to worry about going to court, jury, and all that. So, I've got a call in, and y'all know that I'm a fan of that point of view. Mark Hutchins is the guy that runs that out of Alameda County Sheriff's in California, or Alameda District Attorney's Office. He was a DA, and he was, like I said, he used to be my go-to guy. When I was on the road and I had something that I was like, dude, I'm not real sure on this one. Let me call Mark. And I go, dude, I've got this, I got this, I got this. Can I do this? He's like, no, man, you can't do that. I go, how about this? He goes, yeah, you can probably do that. He goes, you'd probably be better doing this. And so I'd always talk through if I had a case that I thought was looking, I wouldn't call them all poo-butt cases, but if I had a case where someone was looking at 20, 30 years, I didn't want to blow it or get them off on a technicality, so I'd give them a call and go, dude, even though I wasn't in this county, you know, I'd be calling from Sacramento or Yolo or Stockton, wherever the hell I was at, I just call him, hey man, how you go? But he's in California, so he knows California law. In Alameda, the district attorney's office, they enforce California law, they charge them California law, so whatever they do is good throughout the state. You don't have to be in that county to say, oh, that guy don't know what he's talking about. He does. And he's my subject matter expert when it comes to California law, legal, what cops can do and can't do. And because I was an instructor on use of force, firearms, and impact weapons, baton, chokehold, things like that, I had to make sure I knew what the hell I was talking about when I started quoting case law, and one of my students would ask me a question, I'd be like, that's a pretty good question, I don't have an answer, I'll get back to you. I'd call Mark and go, hey man, I got the question, what do you think? You're like, well, it could be this, could be that. And the attorneys have this thing, I think it's called WISN. No, WISN is what drugs do. WISN was a different computer program that has cops, and this is on a side note, I know I'm going around, but this is just how cops do shit. So WISN, if I was doing a warrant, and I was getting a warrant for a house, I should run that address in WISN, and WISN would tell me if any other agency had a search warrant or a case going on with that house or that address. And that way I wouldn't end up kicking a door and getting an undercover cop, which I've done, and they get all pissed off. God damn it, I'm an undercover gore, and you fucking got some poo-butt case, and now you fucked up my investigation. I was like, dude, you didn't fucking tell me. Well, you should have checked mine. And I was like, hey man, I did check or whatever. I don't remember. Maybe I didn't check that time. But I know there was one time this cop was pretty pissed because he was undercover and we busted up their house. So WISN was developed so cops don't do that. So if I'm getting a warrant for a house and I run that address through there, it will tell me contact this agency, they have an ongoing case or investigation. And that way we wouldn't step on each other. And I don't know if it still works or if it's still around or if it's better or if it's called something else. But that's what we used to do. So, and it was mainly, I think, developed for drug cops, because drugs are always between the DEA and task force and different PDs working drugs. It's very easy to intertangle, and you got 2 or 3 different agencies working a case, and they got somebody to cover, and they're doing controlled buys, and you don't know it. You're doing controlled buys, and you're going to do their bust, but they got a big buy coming in, so you want to let them do theirs because they got a, you know, they're buying over 3 pounds, and you're only buying a half an ounce or 2 pounds, whatever. So that's why it was originally, I think, designed. But I could be wrong, but I digress. So the DA has a program, and maybe it's Westlaw. Is that what it is? I don't know. One of the attorneys, one of the guys that watch here that understands it, and they can punch in case law, they can punch in questions, and it gives case law on that case or that topic. And I think that's when I called Mark. Sometimes he would punch it in and go, okay, well, we got case law here, we got this, we got this. Well, you could use this case law. This case law says you'd be okay doing that, but he goes, this one probably says you wouldn't. And we would decide on you know, he'd give me his advice, and I'd be all right, I'm going to do this, and we'll see how it plays out. And if it was screwed up, then he could use me in one of his future magazines that this freaking cop didn't listen to me. So, here is the dilemma, the purpose of this video, after I get through all the education, get you in the same mind frame where I'm going. Cops are supposed to support the Constitution. We're not supposed to avert the Constitution. I'm going to go off tack again because this is right on point on what I'm talking about. There used to be, cops were taught, and I used to tell people, and I was told by many DAs, that even if a guy says, I want an attorney, ask him questions anyway. Okay, now, according to the law, if somebody requests an attorney and does not want to ask questions, the cops can't badger them and continue to question them. If they do, anything they say is going to be thrown out and you can't use it. Well, Rick, why would you ask him if you can't use it? This is the topic of this conversation. Because if I continue asking him, he thinks and he's been told, hey, he can't use it against me. I don't care. I'll tell him. Yeah, shit. I buried the body and you ain't never going to find it. Or yeah, I beat the shit out of her and you ain't going to find it back because I threw it somewhere else. So screw you. And I already said I want a lawyer, so you can't use anything I'm saying. Yeah, I did it. Prove it, dumb cop. So cops would continue to ask questions. We would document what their answers were, but we couldn't use it. Well, Rick, what's the purpose? Because if that person gets on the stand to testify on his behalf in court, and he says anything that he told us that's different, we can now get this statement in through an exception of impeaching a witness. And I can use this statement that I obtained illegally and that I can't use, but there's a back door and now I can get it in. So a lot of DAs were like cops, like, shit, who cares that, you know, because, you know, they say they want a warrant, I wouldn't ask questions, and the DA would be going over the case before the trial, and he's like, dude, did you ask him this? I go, no, man, he said he wanted a warrant. He goes, I don't care if you want, you know, he said he wanted a lawyer. DA would be like, I don't care if he wants a lawyer. He goes, you need to ask him questions, because now if he gets on the stands, we don't have anything to impeach him. He can lie. He goes, did you ask him questions and locked him into a statement? Now he can't get on the stand and change that statement, or then we get to use the statement. So go ahead and get a freaking statement. So cops all over California were just like, screw it. We don't care if you want a lawyer or not. We're going to keep questioning you. It was wrong. It was against what I call the spirit of the law. And was it against the law? It was in violation of the law, but not all laws have penalties. And I know you're like, it's kind of like when I arrest somebody in a house and they got an arrest warrant, and I know I can't go in there because they're not at home. So I'm supposed to go get what's called a stagger warrant, a third-party house warrant, to go in and arrest him. I can secure the house and say, dude, you ain't leaving. I'm going to go get a warrant. We're going to come to get you. So you might as well come out. Fuck you, copper. I ain't coming out. You kiss my ass, Gore. You suck dick, blah, 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 whatever they call me. Be like, all right, we're securing the house. I'm going to go get a warrant. We'd leave. We'd go get our warrant. We'd come back and go, now we have a warrant to enter the house to seize your body. And we tell the homeowner, either you make him come out or we're coming in. We got a warrant. And boom, we'd go in and grab him. And they'd scream and holler and say you can't do it. And it would stand up. Now, the flip side of that is, he's in a house. I know I'm supposed to go get a stagger warrant. I can't go in that house legally. I go in anyway and go, I don't give a shit. I go in, I grab him, I pull him out, and I arrest him. What's the penalty? Nothing. DA's not going to charge us with any crime, and we don't have to let him go. Even though he was arrested illegally, he doesn't get to go because there's a warrant, whatever we're arresting for, there's a warrant for him that's legal, and he's going to jail. So this is that dilemma that cops get caught up in, and cops that don't know or that are young and don't understand it, they think it's cool and it's okay because everybody's telling them it's okay. I was never okay with that. I didn't like it. I don't like circumventing the law. I don't mind bending the rules as long as I'm within the law, but I have a legal area that I'm like, I'm not doing that. And if I do that and I know it's wrong, then I got to get on the stand and say, yeah, I knew it was wrong and I didn't care. And I don't want to testify that because I don't want to be that guy. So I was okay about bending the rules a little bit within the law, but I didn't want to bend them so far that it broke the law or what I considered was immoral. And moral is subjective, you know. One guy's moral is not moral. You know, there's cops that are okay with planting evidence, and there's cops that, you know, they don't want nothing to do with it. So, you know, what's moral? You know, there's the people here, I start to say idiots, but the people here who's got the opinion that if a crook commits a crime and a cop kills him, he was a crook anyway, who cares? I'm not that guy. Government needs to be held to standard. I don't have no love for crooks, and I don't care. Car thief should be the same as horse thief, and he ought to be able to hung. And if that's the law, I'm good. Make it the freaking law, and I'll be capping people stealing cars every day. But that ain't the law. And when you allow government and cops to make up the rules as they go and shoot all these people, and then you people justify it by saying, he was a crook anyway, who cares? He did society a favor. Man, that's not the point. The point is when you let government do things that they're not supposed to do, they end up gaining power, it becomes normal, it becomes accepted. Next thing you know, they pass a law saying it's okay for them to do it, and that's never what you want. You never want to give government more power and more authority. They have too damn much and you can't get it back. But I digress. Let me get back. Long way around. Hi, Mookie. I'm going to go back around. He's looking at me like, dude, what are you doing? All right. Here's the dilemma. Now, I told you about asking the questions after somebody invokes. That's wrong. But there's not a law. The law doesn't say if a cop asks a suspect questions after he invokes, the cop is committing a felony and can get 3 to 10 years in jail. That's not what the law says. The law just says cops cannot answer questions after a person invokes. But if there's no penalty, why do we care? Well, you should care as a cop who's enforcing the Constitution and just being what I call the spirit and intent of the law. That's not the spirit and intent of the law, is to circumvent it. Now, they changed that after I told you they were encouraging cops to do that. I think they went back, and I think a couple of cops got sued for civil rights violations in federal court in California and went, oh, we told you it's okay to do for California. We're not going to charge you, but we can't do nothing if the feds charge you. So the new teaching was, look, when a dude invokes, you better not freaking violate his rights and keep asking questions because the feds can come after you, even if your state doesn't. But, again, I still haven't got to my message. Here we go. Here's the things that, and it just came up in a couple of different instances, that cops are doing, and I don't know what the exact law is on why it's illegal, but to me, it doesn't pass a smell test, it's wrong, and I don't think it's right. And I was guilty of it on one incident, and I said no on another incident. So, different cops have different rules or special powers, so to speak. We'll go with customs first. Customs and immigration, when you're coming into the country, they do not need probable cause. You don't have Fourth Amendment rights. They can search your bag. They can search everything. TSA can search you with no suspicion of you committing a crime. They need no reasonable suspicion, probable cause, nothing. They can search you before you get on a plane, and they can search you if you're coming into the country. U.S. Customs has this special powers that allows them not to comply with the Fourth Amendment. Now, that power was given with the intent of them to use it for people coming in, etc. Here's another special power. Fish and game. Fish and game, because they're out there hunting and they don't have time and they're in the wilderness to go get a warrant all the time, they have been given special powers to enforce fish and game laws to where they don't need probable cause to search to make sure you're complying with hunting and fishing rules. So they can ask you for a license and you have to comply. They can ask to look in your cooler and you have to comply. They can look in your boat. They can inspect your gun to make sure you're not using the wrong ammo, and they can inspect your truck to make sure you're not taking illegal game, etc. And they don't need a warrant. Those are those special powers that are given to Fish and Game. So we got Customs, we got Fish and Game. What's the other one? Customs, Fish and Game, shit. Well, there's four, and I can't remember the third one. Maybe I'll remember when I'm telling one of the fourth one. The fourth one is, when I work auto theft investigators are given special powers because we know where secret VINs are, and we know special secret things about cars and how to track cars and how to find out if they're stolen and how if the VIN's been switched and if stickers have been removed and things like that. There's special things that we know. And that's covered under the evidence code, and we don't have to testify to that in court. So we're given special powers. One, we don't have to testify to our secrets in court because it falls under confidential and it can impact future investigations in auto theft. So we're given that protection. Two, as an auto theft investigator, if you're a full-time investigator and that's your job, you can't do it as a cop and say, oh, I was doing an investigation. You don't get it. You've got, they made it specific. If you're working auto theft as a full-time job and that's your job, then you get these protections. So just like cops can't go, oh, well, I was working Fish and Game, so I don't need probable cause. Nope. Only Fish and Game that are responsible for that. Just like Customs can't go, oh, man, I'm going to go search this guy's house because, you know, I think he traveled last week from that. Nope. You have to be doing it all the time in your course of your employment. That's what I call the spirit and intent of the law. That's what the law was intended when they were given these powers. So there was Customs. There's, I can't believe I can't think of the third one. Oh! Highway Patrol. Highway Patrol, whoever works DOT to harass to inspect trucks that drive the 18-wheelers and the tanks and the hazardous materials and all the other shit on the road, those cops are given special powers to where they don't need probable cause to inspect, not search. Rick, what's the difference? There ain't no damn difference. They call it different. They can inspect 18-wheel trucks for safety, tires. They can make and open it. They can check the load to make sure the load matches the paperwork. Basically, they get to do a search without probable cause under the ruse of, I'm doing a truck inspection. Kind of like DUI checkpoints. DUI checkpoint, they get to stop you. No suspicion of a crime. You're driving. I can stop you. I can make you do. I can see if you have alcohol. I can ask you if you've been drinking. I can check your insurance and then send you on your way. That's an unlawful stop, but the courts have ruled in DUI checkpoints that they can do that. So, here's where cops get in trouble. And this happened to me. And in a couple of my crazy cop stories, I was working with the DEA. I had a drug dog, and I was assigned to the DEA when I was in the Air Force, and we were working at San Francisco Airport. And I was in civilian clothes. They didn't put me in the military because military can't work as civilian. So what do? They assign us to the federal agency or civilian because we're already federal cops if we're a cop in the military. So they just give us those federal powers with other federal agencies, and we're assisting them, but we're in civilian clothes. So the general public doesn't know the military is being used to enforce civil law. Rick, that's illegal. Maybe. They do it all the time. And I did it, and I was under orders, so I don't know if it was illegal or not. But when I was working with the DEA, what we would do is we would check the manifest of flights coming in an international airport, and if they were coming one way with carry-on luggage and they didn't have a return ticket, we thought they were involved in drug. That was a profile stop for drug dealers. That's how they came in. They would come in, they were mules, they'd get a one-way ticket, they would pick up the drugs and then deliver them or drive or whatever the hell they were doing. But that was the MO for drug mules. And a lot of times they brought in cash. So we would want to search their bags. And we didn't have probable cause. We just said they were coming in one way, and the court said that's not enough to give you a search warrant. You can't say, that's not good enough. So it was good enough for us to contact them, because when we contacted them, it wasn't a detention, it was a consensual encounter. They'd get off the plane, we'd have their picture, we'd know who they were, we'd know what seat they were in, we'd look at them, they'd come off. As they were walking, we go, how you doing? Federal agents, do you mind if we talk to you for a minute? And of course they want to comply because they don't want to look like they're carrying dope or money. So they would be, oh sure, what's the problem? And they would act all innocent, and we would start talking to them. And we would say, hey, we're doing drug interdiction. We notice you're coming from this country that's high in drugs, and you're coming here and you don't have a return flight, so we'd like to search your bag. Do you mind? So a lot of them said yeah. Some of them said no. Well, if they say no and we don't have a warrant and we don't have to send, how can we search it? This is where we used to call customs and say, hey, customs, this guy just came in. He don't want to search him. You don't need search authority. Will you look through his bag? And customs would always say, sure, no problem. U.S. Customs, open the bag. You don't have a right to say no. And they would get in. Now, is that illegal? To me, it never passed the smell test. I mean, I was kind of like, man, this kind of seems like we're violating the law. I mean, if we don't have a right to do this, and he says no, we should just leave. Now, you know, the feds were like, oh, hell no, we'll get customs to do it. They're federal agents, they're brother feds, we're all for the government, man, we'll get... So they would search the bag. Same thing cops used to do with Fish and Game. Get a party, get a loud music, they're out there, hey, cops will call Fish and Game guy they know, dude, hey man, these guys are out there partying, can't you say we think they're hunting illegally at night, we think we heard gunfire, we want to get in there and search this area, can you go in and you can search because you don't need it, and say they're hunting, and Fish and Game would be like, sure, no problem, I'll meet you out there, bud, we're all brothers, we got the badge, we work for the government. And they would come in and use their authority to search, in my mind, illegally. As an auto theft guy, patrol guys would call me sometime and go, dude, man, there's this car, we can't get in it, you don't need probable cause to stop it, you can stop it and say you're doing an auto theft investigation. You don't need probable cause, because as soon as that got out, now it's like, oh man, those auto theft guys, they got special powers, we can use them. And they would call me and ask me, and I'd be like, man, I can't do that. Come on, Rick, shit, man, we're trying. I go, dude, follow the dude, he'll commit some violation, you can't get PC. I said, I'm not going to pull him over and say I'm doing all that investigation when I'm not, just to get you in there. Come on, man, you got to help us out, we're on the same team, why you want to treat us like this? How come you ain't being a team player? Dude, I can't do it. I said, if you can't get PC, I'll follow the dude and get you PC and I'll stop him. Oh, man, screw it, man, we'll get it ourselves, thanks a lot for nothing. And they'd be pissed. Whatever. I didn't feel comfortable doing that. Could I have done it? Yeah. Would it have been illegal? To me, it didn't pass the smell test. So I'm talking to my buddy in the highway patrol the other day, and he's like, yeah, I had this car, man, and I wanted to search it, and the guy was acting hinky and everything, and I couldn't get in it. So, man, I called up my level 3 inspector. They don't need probable cause. I told him, come on down. I wanted to search his car, and I didn't have probable cause. And he goes, no problem, I'll be right there. And he comes over and does a big inspection, and he cuts the seal, and he has to open it up, and he gets to inspect. We get to search it, and then I'm good to go. And I'm like, dude, I think that's illegal. And he's like, what? I go, I don't think you can do that. I said, imagine going into court and testifying. I know I didn't have PC. I only had suspicion. I couldn't detain this guy lawfully, so I used the extra powers of this level 3 DOT inspector who is supposed to be keeping the road safe and inspecting for safety, and he came over and searched it for me because I couldn't get in it legal. I said, how would you like to testify that way? Well, I wouldn't say that. I go, oh, so you would lie. Well, no. I go, dude, you can't do that. I said, maybe you can do it. I said, if you can do it, then you ought to be able to say you're doing it. You shouldn't have to make up excuses. So this got me thinking, and I'm like, what is the law? What is the violation? And how is the cop going to get caught up? And I couldn't come up with a good thing other than myself just saying it doesn't pass smell test. I don't like it. I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't be involved in it. But I'm a senior guy, I've been around for a while, and I know not to step on my dick and leave it out there or hang it out so other people can step on it. So I wouldn't get involved in that. But a lot of new young cops, it becomes so routine and everyone else is doing it, and they get caught up in this and they think it's okay because they see other people do it. And I always tell people, that's all fine and dandy till the fucking bell rings and the music stops and you're the last guy without a chair, and now you got to justify. And I'll tell you what never freaking works in court when you're facing prison. Well, all the other guys did it and I just thought it was okay. That's never worked in the history of court. So I don't want to be involved in it. I don't know what the law is, and maybe someone else has got caught up in this, but I called Mark Hutchins over at Point of View and I left him a message. I'm waiting for a call back from him And he's probably going to look it up and tell me. And I asked him, I go, maybe you covered that in one of your articles. So I don't know if he's already covered it. If he's already covered it, I told him to give me a link. And I'll share it. But I'll do another follow-up on this. And then in the comments, if any cops come across this, or if there's other examples, put it in the comments. And then just from a layman's purposes, if you were sitting on a jury and a cop told you he did the things that I just explained, even though it's not really within the law, he really didn't violate the law to where he can get a penalty, would that raise your admiration for cops? Or would it simply say, you know what, you can't trust government with anything, and cops are just as bad as everyone else? To me, it doesn't pass the smell test. But that was a long way around to get there. I don't know how long I've been talking. I don't even know where the hell my cat, I think my cat left. He's like, dude, I'm out of here. All right, we'll go ahead and I don't know where my horses went. I think they're gone too. All right, we'll end out there.